Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Monday Night Live at Cafe Gratitude. All right, so quite a few new faces tonight. This is great. It's nice to see everybody coming out to hear Steve Meyerowitz speak. Tonight, we have Steve Meyerowitz with us, the Sprout Man. His topic is Eat Less and Get More. I'm just going to read this off here for you. Steve Meyerowitz was christened the Sprout Man in the 1970s in a feature article in Vegetarian Times because his New York City apartment was always filled with gardens of mini vegetables. They were part of his lifetime fight against chronic allergies and asthma. After 20 years of disappointment with orthodox medicine, he became symptom-free through his use of diet, juices, and fasting. In 1980, he founded the Sprout House, a no-cooking school in New York City, teaching the benefits of a living foods diet. He's the best-selling author of 10 books, including Wheatgrass Nature's Finest Medicine, Juice Fasting and Detoxification, Sprouts, The Miracle Food, Food Combining and Digestion, and many others. Steve has been a health crusader and one of the leading voices for raw and organic foods in the United States since the 1970s. And he's famous for inventing several unique kitchen devices for growing microgreens soil-free and year-round. And, of course, he's also somewhat famous for the crazy sprout-covered leotard. It's been a while since you worn that, huh? So please welcome Steve Meyerowitz.
Thank you. It is a privilege to be here in Healdsburg. First time for me, and I haven't had a chance to visit the Bay Area and Marin County. Is this Sonoma County? Okay, I got that right. And I'm enjoying myself. And this space and what's going on here is really awesome. So you folks have a real treasure here, and I envy you for this. And coming here with what Shea is doing and Stephen are doing here is really special. So just in case you weren't aware that this is a really special thing that's going on, I wanted to tell you from my perspective, and I go around a lot. You know, last week I was in Germany, and I was in the UK, and I was in Dublin, and I got caught by the volcano. And that was last week. So actually I came back on Tuesday, so a little less than a week. So I can tell you I've been around, and this is a great place you've got here, and you're doing great stuff. And yes, there's other great stuff going on all over, but you folks have got something special here, so that's wonderful to be a part of it. And yes, I'm the Sprout Man, and yes, you probably came here to hear about, what I eat and what I grow and how I grow it. But, I like to really be here for all of you and address the issues that you have going on. So I want to ask you what you're most interested in hearing from me, or what brought you out tonight to listen to me. Maybe you didn't come for me. Maybe you came for the beautiful food. But those of you who came to hear me, I just like to get a sense of what you're most interested in, so that I can tailor my talk tonight to address your needs. Anyone want to jump in and say a few things?
Traveling and making your own sprouts.
Okay, traveling and making sprouts. That's a good question.
Mold on wheatgrass.
Mold on wheatgrass. Okay. Ooh, got the shivers from that question. Yes, allergies. Okay. Okay, yeah? Can you speak up? Removing the holes. Okay, so these are kind of itty-bitty questions. I'm looking for the larger topic or subject questions. Yeah? What percentage should sprouts play in a raw diet? Okay, these are great. And yes, Solomon.
The most beneficial things to sprout.
Okay, the most beneficial things to sprout.
Sprouts and diabetes.
Sprouts and diabetes. Okay, so I'm going to start talking away here, and then after a while, I'm going to stop and leave time for all of your questions. And hopefully I'm going to cover the kinds of things that you talked about. But these questions from you were just to give me direction so that I'm talking about the things you came here to hear. So, yeah, I grow a lot of my own food. And, you know, I'm from back east. I'm from the Northeast. I kind of started this whole trip of mine in New York City. And, you know, there I was 14 stories above the sidewalks of New York. And, you know, gardening is not a real easy option. You know, I don't have a garden when you have an apartment. So what I decided, the theme I followed was apartment gardening. Right? You guys have a wonderful situation here. I mean, you can actually grow food pretty much all year round, can't you? You know? And how many of you actually do that? Have gardens and you're growing all year round? Okay. But I see that some of you don't do that. And I can tell you that I didn't have your option, right? In the Northeast, you've got a growing season of maybe 4 months. And if you want to stretch that, you got to start off in a greenhouse, and you've got to also end in a greenhouse, and then you can stretch it. But basically, now we're talking about land, we're talking about investment, and we're talking about a skill level that maybe the average person doesn't have. Well, I was looking, you know, back in the late 70s when I started this, in 75 really, I was looking for organic food, because I don't have to persuade any of you that organic food is really essential. It's fundamental. It's the bottom line. And I know it costs more, but it's a great investment. It's an investment in our health, right? I mean, I like to say, you know, a lot of people out around who invest in the stock market, I put my money in the produce market. I want to pay up front, because otherwise, pesticides, artificial fertilizers, fungicides, that's cancer. And we'll pay later on if we don't pay up front. So it's a good investment. And the problem is, back in 75, and to a certain extent still today, the availability of organics was rare. Now again, back in New York, right, Northeast USA, and there are many northern climates who don't have the advantages of California. So I needed a source for organic food, and I needed it year round. And that's when I started to do my own apartment gardening, and it wasn't hard. And you know, most people think of sprouts as the Asian bean sprouts like mung bean and soybeans. And if you want to carry that on, the other bean sprouts like lentil sprouts or pea sprouts or chickpea sprouts, you know, that's one thing. I don't do very much of that. I'm interested in green food, you know, because for me, I got into this whole thing because of my health. So I'm interested in eating for healing. So the Asian stir fries and wok dishes and, you know, those kinds of bean sprouts, that's interesting, and it's certainly the only way you can eat beans raw, right? Think about it. If you look the whole planet over, there's no culture, there's no society that eats beans raw. If you want to eat raw beans, the only way you can do it is to sprout them. So, and if you sprout mung beans and chickpeas and green peas and lentils, same thing with grains. Sprouted wheat, sprouted rye, sprouted kamut, sprouted spelt. All of these foods cannot be eaten raw. You can't eat raw grain. But you can germinate it, and then you can grind it up into a paste, and you can put it into the dehydrator.